Welcome to our In Focus discussion tonight on Black Business Month. Throughout history, Black businesses have endured systemic racism and even violence, such as the Tulsa massacre in Oklahoma back in 1921. During the past year and a half, the pandemic disproportionately impacted Black businesses, resulting in a 40% drop in ownership, according to the Washington Post. Every year during the month of August, we recognize and celebrate the success, milestones, and historical progress of Black business owners. Kicking off our conversation tonight is Michelda George, founder of Versatile Image. And Michelda, thank you so much for being here and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Rosie. I'm a pleasure to be here.
You look beautiful in yellow tonight, by the way.
Thank you.
Let's start our conversation out with talking about your business, Versatile Image. How long has your business been around, and what inspired or prompted your interest in business ownership?
Well, Versatile Image actually started in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where I'm originally from, in 2013. And my family had just closed our grocery store. I ran it for about 4 years, and one of the things that I realized was a lot of minority businesses just don't have a lot of support. There's always like the centers that are in every city, but actual people who are invested in our success and wanting to see our businesses grow, I felt that that was lacking a lot. And I had just friends who were artists who needed help negotiating their contracts and just, you know, figuring out how much to charge for things. And that's really how Versatile Image started.
So are you an advocate, basically, for Black business owners in the community?
Yes, very much so. Me being one ourselves, my family, I just felt like there was a lot of things that I didn't know. So I researched a lot of things. I volunteered a lot. I asked people, can I just come and learn from them? I would intern on production sets and just want to learn more, because I felt like maybe if I knew more, then maybe I could have helped our business be able to float past the recession in 2008. So yeah, definitely an advocate for Black-owned businesses for sure.
And that's so necessary, because sometimes pursuing business ownership can be an isolating journey. So I think just having that support can mean the world to somebody. Now, was your business impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, and were there any lessons learned from it?
My business directly, no. We are here to support the Black community, and so we had a lot of clients that were impacted by COVID. Being able to help them navigate the PPP program that was offered during COVID was huge for us at Versatile Image, but we also used that time to be able to train and teach our business owners how to utilize social media, which is a free platform, to be able to get the word out about their products and services. And so we really taught them how to be able to capitalize on those free resources that were available so that they can kind of float through the impact of COVID.
So basically, social media became so much more valuable to understand, learn, and utilize during COVID, I'm guessing, because of that reduction in face-to-face interaction that we were able to do between businesses and consumers. Would you say that's right?
That is absolutely correct, especially for food trucks. We have one of our clients, Micaiah Caters, that is here in Utah, that without Instagram or without Facebook, people wouldn't know where he was at, because he was at the farmer's market every Saturday, and that had shut down for quite some time. You know, catering jobs were shut down, and pretty much his business almost came to a pause. So we had to pivot and get him introduced to the food trucking business. And so without Instagram and Facebook, he wouldn't have been able to make it.
Such a valuable asset. Now, Michelda, when it comes to Black Business Month, some people ask, why not highlight all businesses? Why specifically Black-owned businesses? Tell me why there is a need to push for more Black-owned businesses and community support.
Well, the truth is in the pudding. I mean, it was in the introduction. There has been a historical record of Black-owned businesses not being able to succeed due to systemic reasons. I mean, Tulsa, Oklahoma is the worst one that happened, but there was one that happened in Rosewood, Florida, in the state in which I was born and raised. So I think that it's very important to understand that historically we didn't put white signs and Negro signs over water fountains. We didn't do that. And so it's very important that we understand when we say Black-owned business what that means. It's because historically, white people have owned everything, and they have made it a point to ensure that they own everything. So we do that to let people know, hey, we are Black-owned, support us. We have a right to be able to acquire ownership, to be able to have a chance at generational wealth. We deserve that too. So that's what we mean when we say Black-owned business.
Through your interactions and your partnerships with these Black business owners in the community, what kind of challenges, barriers, or difficulties do they face being a Black business owner in Utah?
I mean, with being in a predominantly white state, I mean, people just look at you different. That's just the reality of the situation. Being taken seriously as a business owner is one of the hardest challenges. When you walk into a room and you're Black, people really question your competence, whether you're capable of doing the job or whether you're able to deliver your product or service at a high level. There's always this kind of underlined, unconscious bias of like how they see you when you walk into the room, or when you are sitting at a table to propose a business deal. You're just not taken seriously. The other thing would be funding, having access to funding, resources that actually we can implement, and to be able to create a process or infrastructure that we can be able to sustain our business over a period of time. Those are probably the two most problematic situations here in Utah as a Black-owned business.
Well said. Michelle, we have to wrap really quick, but can you quickly just tell me what you would like the public to think about when they are considering or patronizing Black-owned businesses in the community?
Well, I think that they can choose to be an American. It's important to understand the flag that you're proud of and the history that is tied to that. And if we are calling ourselves Americans in the United States, we have to own all of American history that comes with that. So be mindful of what you're choosing to say and the preconceived notions that you have in regards to Black-owned businesses.
You've been hearing from Michelle DeGeorge, founder of Versatile Image. Thank you so much for being a part of our conversation tonight. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us for our second In Focus discussion tonight on Black Business Month. Up next in our conversation is Candy Tesson, co-owner of Eats. And Candy, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Candy, can you tell us about your business Eats? How long has your business been around, and what was the inspiration behind it?
So my business has been around a very short amount of time. We've only been operating for less than a year, and the inspiration just came from my son and I both have sensitivities when it comes to foods and food allergies, and we just got tired of going to restaurants and we couldn't eat anything or enjoy the sweets and desserts that we wanted to. And so I finally just decided that I was going to try to make something for him that he could enjoy. And it started with a vegan cinnamon roll. And I made it, and he said, "Mom, this is delicious." And, I assumed he was saying that because I was his mom. So, I just kept making it and giving it to the neighbors and everyone else, and they just loved it. And the business just grew from there. It started with cinnamon rolls and has exploded into so many different other options.
So could you give us a preview of what a customer would find on your menu? What are maybe the dietary restrictions or accommodations that your business provides to the community?
Yeah, so we have several. We have customers who are gluten-free. We have customers who need sugar-free. We have customers who need no nuts. We find that several young children have a lot of nut allergies, so we bake several of our options with no nuts. Our chocolate chip cookies are nut-free. We can do lots of different custom orders. We've had some that we've done recently for gluten-free customers who still want it to be vegan, gluten-free, nut-free. So typically whatever you need, we are able to customize for you.
Candy, your business sounds amazing, but it's so young, right? First year
Yes.
in business. Was it impacted at all by the COVID-19 pandemic?
No, honestly, it wasn't. I think people really loved, because we are a delivery bakery, that they don't have to go out into a store, into a brick and mortar, and have to do the social distancing and being around other customers. You go onto our website and you order your product, and then we deliver it to you, and it's just one person coming to your home, and you can choose to meet us at the door, or we can just leave it there for you with a nice note just thanking you for your business.
That sounds amazing. So I'm wondering, we talked a little bit about social media with our last guest. Did social media help your business out at all as far as getting the word out about your new businesses and maybe even helping customers place orders with you?
It has. We do several different farmers markets, and that's just allowed us to grow our Instagram, which is what we use mainly, and it's just allowed that to grow and people to see, customers to see our different items that we have or features for that week that we'll be bringing out, and being able to click and just order so easily. And to be honest with you, I am not even an expert at social media. It's something that I struggle with because I am not a fan of pictures and grew up not taking pictures. So I've really had to take the time to focus on the social media because it's such a big part of our generation right now, social media. And so it's just allowed us to be able to reach so many different people and for people to share and send it to their friends so easily with just the touch of a button.
Candy, we've talked about all the things that have gone well with your business. I'm wondering, have you experienced any challenges, barriers, or difficulties being a Black business owner in Utah?
I think in the beginning it was very personal. It was difficult to show my face. I was afraid to show my face, so we did several Instagram posts where it was just our products or our kitchen where we baked or customers. And I finally had to just say that I am going to be authentically me, even here in Utah, where it's predominantly a white state, and just show my face. Let people see who I am, and they see me at the farmers markets, but just so that everyone who follows us or who sees our page can see that there is an African American woman, a Black woman, who owns this bakery.
Candy, what would you tell young entrepreneurs, especially entrepreneurs of color, about wanting to start their own company?
Just do it. You need to make sure that you have people in your group that are around you that are supportive. I have my co-owner, my husband, who from day one just said, just do it. And the support was there from jump. And I just took a leap of faith and just dove into it, and it has been so amazing. It's never going to be perfect. It's always going to be a work in progress. You're always learning, you're always growing, but just know that there are little girls and little boys out there who are Black girls and Black boys who want to see, they want to walk up to a business or look on an Instagram page or a website and see men and women who look like them. So just do it.
Well said. Candy, we have to wrap, but real quick, what does the rest of the year look like for your business, or what's next for your venture?
Right now we are just focusing on taking eats and making sure that our website, our online presence grows, and that's something that we're working on right now, just to make sure that we can get that out there, and in the future we would want to have a bakery truck so that we can go to the different areas where we aren't yet and just have a presence there as well.
Thank you so much, Candy. We enjoyed having you a part of this conversation.
Thank you so
much. And wish you well on your business.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Welcome to our third and final In Focus discussion tonight on Black Business Month. Rounding out our conversation tonight is Stephen Johnson, CEO of Luke Johnson Lewis LLC and chairman of the board at the Utah Black Chamber of Commerce. Stephen, it's good to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Tell us about your business, Luke Johnson Lewis LLC. How long has your business been around and what services do you provide?
Luke Johnson and Lewis has been around for over 10 years now. We are a premier debt collection agency that specializes in strategic consulting, debt collection, and auto repossession.
Now, what changes maybe did your business see or observe or experience during the COVID-19 pandemic? Were there any lessons that you might have learned?
We learned a lot of lessons. I mean, in my line of business, when we depend on consumers resolving their obligation, and anytime you have an economic disruption, I mean, there's a lot of, things that can happen. Luckily, we were able to pivot, do more consulting. We had some great friends that helped us out too with the PPP. I'm also on the board of the chamber, and the chamber was amazing with resources for us. So it worked out well.
Let's squeeze in a question about the Utah Black Chamber of Commerce. So on a wider scale, when we're looking at Black-owned businesses across Utah, what kind of impact did you see COVID-19 have on them?
COVID-19 had a huge impact on the Black business, which we were actually able to grow over 300% in membership during the pandemic. So we had a huge growth spurt, made us really look and examine on how we needed to help and retool basically to help small businesses and the minority community here in Utah.
Stephen, do we happen to know why there was that great increase in membership? I'm wondering if it was because there were actually more businesses being formed, or if there were just more need for connection and support within the community.
A huge need for connection and support. A lot of things happened before the pandemic and during the pandemic, which had us basically retool. We had to come up with a mechanism for the community, for the small Black minority businesses to be able to survive, to be able to grow. So we were able to succeed.
Now let's talk about social media. You're a business owner yourself, and you also interact with other business owners in the community. What was the significance of social media maybe during this pandemic, or just for business owners in general?
Social media was huge for us because we were able to use it as a tool to locate some people who might need some help with some situations that they needed to resolve. It was also a platform where people could speak out and tell the story about how we helped them, as far as what we did, how they were treated, what tools we came up with them, the empathy we showed. In my line of business, you don't get too much empathy, but there was a lot of posts about how we interact or how we engaged with consumers and how we were able to help.
Something else that happened this past year and a half, social justice movements, right? I feel like the conversations around racial equity and equality really came to a boiling point. What do you think about that? Do you think there's been a significance in that, and has it brought a spotlight maybe onto Black-owned businesses?
Most definitely, most definitely. The racial injustice, it's hard to speak on it. I mean, the racial injustice is still going on. So we really need to focus and put together a plan that we can help Black-owned businesses sustain, grow, operate, achieve. There's so many things that are against Black businesses from the startup. I mean, just my personal experience, I was unknown in the industry here. I mean, I worked at some premier law firms, but once they folded and it was time for me to take my talent and try to do my own thing, it was like there was closed doors. So and it was really, if you don't know someone, they really don't take into play what your skill set is, achieving. So the impact was great.
Stephen, we've got about a minute left. Is there any advice that you could share to other aspiring business owners, particularly ones who are aspiring business owners of color, on what they can do or guidance on how to thrive in Utah?
Here in Utah, you have to be fearless. I mean, so many doors were closed. I had a great experience where everything was almost signed and sealed, and we were going to be doing business with a large group. And once they found out that the co-founder or the CEO was black, they bailed out. So it's hard to take that, but my opinion is be fearless, don't give up, take that leap of faith. There's only a small percentage of black businesses that exist. Be a part of that growth. Join the chamber. The chamber was huge for me. I mean,
Stephen, I'm so sorry, I have to cut you off. I keep getting the rap cue in my ear. Our time is up, but thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate all the insight that you brought to the conversation tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.